Hi, I'm Mishti Max and I'm here to share this soft, easy grunge look with you. I wanted to play with my new OCC lip tar, this metallic one which is called Black Metal Dahlia. So I thought I'd add a few spikes and play around with my new pros-aide and also design a quick look to go with that. This whole look seriously took about 20 minutes to chuck on, so if you want to get out the door quick and look a little grungy, this tutorial could be for you. After doing my usual foundation routine, which is linked in the description box, I started with the lips because I wanted to base the makeup look around them. As always, I primed my lips with MAC Prep and Prime Lip Base to make sure that the lip tar doesn't feather. Then I grabbed the MAC Pigment in Vanilla and used that as my Cupid's Bow highlight. I took this tiny Sigma E36 blending brush and dusted the pigment all over the Cupid's Bow. And I blended it out with my finger a bit too. Next I grabbed the MAC Lip Pencil in Night Moth, which is a colour that sort of matches the lip tar I want to use. I began by outlining my lips and shaping them in my usual pointed Cupid's Bow shape, and then went on to colour in the corners of my lips and thickened up the outline a bit, but made sure I kept the centre bare. I neatened up the outline with a cotton bud and finalised the shape of my lips. Then we come to the really exciting part. I finally got my hands on this OCC lip tar in Black Metal Dahlia, and it also comes with an OCC mini lip brush. As you can see, I'm very excited to have this one. It's one of them metallic ones that I've wanted for so long. The first squeeze is always the best to watch it come out the tip. So, Lip Tar 101. Just squeeze out a tiny rice-sized drop onto the back of your hand or the brush, and then apply away. I find that the metallic lip tars are slightly thicker than the regular matte formula, and that means you can use a little bit more product, but you really don't want to go crazy because otherwise you'll get a fuckload of feathering. After the first layer, I squeezed out a bit more and dabbed the excess off on the back of my hand. Then I shored up the lines of my lips and added some more metallic goodness, making sure I went up to the edge of the lip line and deepened up the color. It's easy to wipe away any stray lip tar, and I'm just running my concealer brush around the edge of my lips to put back any product I took off there. Make sure to remove the excess on the inside so it doesn't get all over your teeth. And I grabbed the MAC Night Moth pencil again and went back into the corners and the outer edge to add a bit more depth there. Not really going for a full-on gradient lip, but just adding a bit more depth and darkness. I'm fanning my lips to speed up the setting of the lip tar because I want to add some embellishments on top. I've got these 3mm gold spikes from the Born Pretty store, and the first thing I thought of when I saw Black Metal Dahlia was these bitches were born to go together. I'm going to use tweezers to pick up these little spikes. I'm trying out a new adhesive, which is pros-aide. It's an acrylic prosthetic glue with latex in it too, and it's apparently supposed to stick on anything you want for as long as you want until you use this removal. So if you get yourself some pros-aide, make sure that you get the makeup remover specialized to get it off. Isopropyl Myrostate oil-based makeup remover. I'll tell you now, this cap was on damn tight, but once I got it off, I'm going to put out the pros-aide on this plastic. So I took a cotton bud and dipped it in the liquid, and then put it out on this bit of plastic. Then I tried a few different ways to get the glue onto the spike and the spike onto my lips. First I dipped the spike directly into the pros-aide and blew on it for a very short time to see if I could make it dry a little bit, and then I placed it on my lips. As you can see, it didn't stick very fast, so I took it off and tried to apply it again and hold it down, positioning it where I want. It seemed to be going okay, so I went on to the second spike and used the cotton bud to apply the pros-aide to the base of the spike, and then used the tweezers to apply it right in the middle of my lip. I also tried using a toothpick to put on just enough latex onto the base of the spike, and trying not to get too much of it on the tweezers as well. I must say this spike seemed like it really didn't want to be on my lips, and kept sliding off actually. I actually had a bit of playtime and managed to maneuver the spikes a little bit after I placed them down. I went back in with more Black Metal Dahlia to make my lips more metallic, just adding another layer. As I said, that middle spike just wouldn't stay. Also, it was a little high up for what I wanted, so I tried a different method of sticking the pros-aide directly on my lips and then applying the spike on top. I did an inner lip check and went back in to darken up the corners. I wanted to reposition the top spike because it wasn't evenly spaced, so I gave it another go. And yes, I did wear this lip out because I wanted to test out how pros-aide works in the real world. I think I need to improve my pros-aide technique. After about an hour, the middle spike actually just dropped off in the middle of me talking, so that one just didn't want to come to the party. The other two spikes lasted on my lips about 3 hours, but they did drop off after a couple of pieces of pizza. Either way, this is the lip design with the beautiful Black Metal Dahlia and just a tiny accent of 3 golden spikes. And I think it's a really great 3D lip to wear out, so it would totally work for going out to a gig or a club, but maybe not if you're going out to dinner. But hey, I had to test it out. Now onto the eyes. I took Too Faced Eyeshadow Insurance and applied it all over my lids from my brow to my lashes. Then for an eyeshadow base, I used MAC Painterly Paint Pot and applied that with the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. I added this base as well for some color correction, and also so the eyeshadows had something to stick to. I'm a bit of an eyeshadow base junkie. I smoothed that out with my finger as well. Then I whipped out the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette and slapped on some Strange to my brow bone with the Sigma E70 medium angle shading brush from the Mr. Bunny kit. I applied this all along my brow bone, taking it down to the crease and also in the inner corner to aid blending. Then I went into Limit with the same brush and applied that to my crease. This is more of my transition shade. I'm applying that in a kind of winged shape, taking some of that onto the outer corner of my eye and blending it out towards the temple. I'm also blending that into my inner socket and up towards the start of my brow. I want to get a bit of a sunken in eye look there. Then to deepen that up, I went into Nooner and did pretty much the same thing, only taking it deeper into my crease and making the whole thing look a bit more sunken in. And I didn't take Nooner as far up. Then I took the Sugarpill Sparkle Baby palette and went for the Shadowed Kitten Parade with this MAC 242 paddle brush and packed that onto the lid. I took it over the inner 2/3 up to where I blended Nooner and Limit. Just a little tip, if you want to get the maximum opacity out of your eyeshadows, use a flat brush like this and patting motions. And then I went back to the medium angled shading brush to blend out the edges of Kitten Parade. For some more Ready Maroon goodness, I got out the Inglot eyeshadow number 450 Pearl and dabbed the pointy end of the medium angled eyeshadow brush into it, then took that into my outer corner. I bulked that into the crease in the outer lid, continuing that winged out shape. Then I took what was left on the tip of the brush and took that into my deep crease. I brightened up the lid for any Kitten Parade that got lost in the blending. Then for some lash line definition, I went back in with the Inglot 450 shadow and the small angled E65 brush from Sigma and patted that on the outer half, smudging it into my lashes. I wanted to bring a bit more of the maroon tone in there, so I went back in with the MAC 242 paddle brush and patted that on the outer edge of my lid, brightening up the color and increasing that outer V depth. Then for some blending bits and pieces, I went back in with the Inglot shadow and the medium angled shading brush, taking that into my crease a bit more, and brightening up the lid again with Kitten Parade. To darken it up, I mixed Nooner and Limit and blended that into my crease. Then I spanked on some Strange to brighten up the brow bone, blend out the crease, and also reshape the eye makeup. Now back to the MAC pigment in Vanilla, and I took that on the end of my paddle brush and applied that to my tear duct area. I also blended some of that over the inner third of my eyelid to brighten up Kitten Parade and complement those pinky tones. I wanted the highlight to be a bit more intense, so I sprayed my brush with some MAC Fix Plus, then went back into the pigment and applied that directly to my tear duct and blended it out. I went in with the Sedona Lace Midnight Kabuki brush to brush away any fallout. I reapplied some MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15 to brighten up the area and clean it up. I went back in with some Limit and Nooner with the same medium angled brush, taking it pretty low down and following the winged out shape on the outer edge, because I want this kind of messy and grungy. Then I took that paddle brush with the residual vanilla pigment and blended that over the inner third of my lower lash line. I was considering the lower lash line and thinking of using MAC Night Moth lip pencil there, but instead I went in with that small angled brush and the Pearl 450 Inglot eyeshadow and added some redness along the lash line with that. I ended up going with the Rimmel Scandalized Pencil in Nude for the waterline to open up the eyes. I'm thinking of experimenting with some red on the waterline another time. I set that concealer from before with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Ethereal Light, using the Real Techniques setting brush. Then I curled my eyelashes but good, giving them some lift at the roots of the lashes and also in the middle too. Then I went in with a crapload of CoverGirl Clump Crusher mascara on the top and bottom lashes, making sure to get right in there at the roots and taking plenty for the outer lashes as well, keeping with the winged out shape. I went in with about 3 coats. Then I kept the brows simple, just combing some Benefit Gimme Brow through the hairs. I smudged along the lash line with the small angled brush to blend out any mascara that got on there. Then I used my Real Techniques brow and lash groomer to comb through my lashes so I can put just one more coat of mascara on, because you want your lashes to be just the right amount clumpy. So yeah, that's the end of that. I hadn't really planned any of this out, except for the fact I knew I wanted to wear Black Metal Dahlia, and really the rest of it was wanting to see Kitten Parade with some of those maroon and pinkish tones. If you're wondering what I've got on for the rest of my face, I've got the MAC Vanilla Pigment as my cheek highlight, Benefit Rockateur as my blush, my usual Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation, and I set my face with the Revlon Photo Ready Translucent Powder. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this soft, easy grunge look with these metallic, spiky 3D lips.
Click the little boxes if you want to see other tutorials of mine.
No.
If you was a rapper, you'd be Grandmaster P.
Yeah, piano over. This will be our pigs. It's a shame I'm not closer to the mic.
Closer to the mic. Syphilis. Gonorrhea. Chlamydia. Idia. Leadfield snowshoe.
Leadfield snowshoe. My favorite baby seal. Alright. Spew-infested waterways. Hey, she could mutate insanely. You wanna see her face? Sardines in her eyebrows, lobsters up and down her forehead. And that's all the zappy you're gonna get.